So I have 8 nieces and nephews. I just had a nephew just graduate high school, similar to some of you. And then I also have a niece who is in her senior year at another university. So pretty excited about those folks and trying to see what their path and their journey takes them. I do have a bachelor's degree from the University of Arkansas in business administration. Um, like some of you, I hope some of you will be, but I was a very engaged student leader. I went to a large Division I institution that was roughly about an hour and a half away from home, an institution that was predominantly white, as we kind of have some classifications for those. And that kind of helped shape my not only my experience but also helped shape and affirm my cultural identity, because I identify as full blood, and it's one of those things that it's mainly ingrained, and that's helped me get through a lot of challenges and adversity that I encountered during my formidable years. From there, I went to the University of Vermont for my master's degree. I got my master's degree in education, and proceeded to continue to want to work with students in the college level. So the reason why I went for a master's degree, especially in higher education, was that, as I mentioned before, I went to a predominantly white institution, and that institution was, I didn't see a whole lot of people that looked like me, knew anything that had any shared experiences like me, and so I wanted to be the change. I wanted to be the change agent. I wanted to kind of see how I can help others achieve some of their goals. So that's what led me to my profession. I've been working in higher ed for 12 years now. Pretty excited. It's taken me a variety of different places. People ask me a lot about like, what I like about so much about education. It takes you everywhere. Education gives you so much options, um, and it gives you the ability to kind of not only just learn more about yourself, but learn about other different ideas and peoples and other identities, and try to transform how you want to help the world in general. So, some other background information: I'm a high school referee. I mostly do football, basketball, and soccer. That's my wheelhouse. I go from helping out students to being yelled at by parents, and then enjoy it. It's taken me a lot of different places too. But in addition to that, I'm a very huge hip hop enthusiast. So as I was your age, when older people were saying, "Well, I'm really big into hip hop," and I was like, "Ooh, you're a little bit old for that, aren't you?" Well, yeah, I am, but I still gravitate to my generation, my time frame, and that was the mid '90s. For that, my wheelhouse of music. But I definitely appreciate the new stuff. I just again, I listen, I appreciate, and I move on back to my old stuff. So, all right. So Justin had asked me to talk a little bit more about cultural identity and kind of having getting involved on campus, a little bit more about what I do professionally. As Justin had mentioned, I had worked previously as an assistant director for multicultural or Native American student affairs at NC State. So I help assist with folks who kind of launched this program, kind of created to make sure to help students kind of get more information about like what college looks like, how does it feel. From that experience led me to working at the University of North Carolina at Pembroke, where I was there for 4 years, and I worked primarily with students on academic probation there. So very familiar with the southeastern part of North Carolina, but um, and these are some of these lessons learned that I've took from working with students, especially within the academic range, the academic side. So we'll definitely share some nuggets from there. But talking about our cultural identity, we need to start thinking about like other things like who we are. All right. And let's start from the macro level. Okay. So I'm going to share this next slide. So this is one of my favorite activities. I like for everybody to either take a piece of paper out, be able to kind of maybe or use your laptop, uh, maybe look at like a pull of a Word document, or even just scribble down. But I want you all to try to list the tribes. There's a number associated, part of the state. List the tribe where they're headquartered at. Okay. So for those who don't or not maybe aware of, we do have 8 tribes that make up that are reside in North Carolina. There's approximately 122,000 American Indian people in North Carolina. Um, so it's only going to have you take some time, and I want you to try to get these numbers right. All right. Put the number associated with the tribe. And Justin, since I can't see who's all who, I would like for you to call on some folks and see if they got it right. We'll call
Yes,
on some folks.
yes, sir. Would you like from the volunteer, or you mean randomly call on someone?
Oh, I'll trust your instinct on that one.
I like that. I like that.
You remember this activity, Justin?
I do. I remember we did it. We did it for kind of a workshop one day.
You remember? You know where all these tribes are at?
Yeah. I could do it easy, man. Easy. Kind of, sort of. Like $2 gets me tripped up.
Yeah,
it's like $2 that gets me. But for the most part, I can see a little bit. Ian, on your presentation, the last 2 tribes are a little bit cut off. Can you just tell people what they are? I know what they are, but can you make sure they know?
As far as like location wise?
No. Like you
Or
can't
want to read the name.
Yeah, read the name. You can't see the name underneath it.
Oh, really? Man, Zoom technology, I swear. So we have the Coharie tribe, okay, the Eastern Band of Cherokee Nation, Haliwa-Saponi Indian tribe, the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina, the Meherrin Indian tribe, and the Occaneechi Band of the Saponi Nation, then Saponi, and then the Waccamaw Siouan Indian tribe.
All right. And so, Ian, what I'm thinking is we do have a couple students from Virginia and other ones are from North Carolina. So I'm thinking I'm going to pick 2 different ones. You're okay with that?
There you go.
All right. And so within the chat feature, I see some students already being proud to be Lumbee. So Trinity, do you mind sharing your...
Thank you all for those who volunteered. Unfortunately, not all of us got it right. So we'll go through this. All right. So I'm really big into maps. Maps to me kind of help not only see what's out there, but also show us where can we go. And so, and it's helpful kind of understanding a little bit more about where are some of our tribal identities reside at, especially locally. Because we can always pull from like larger entities like, Navajo Nation, where's that at? That was probably out west. We're out west, and we can go deeper into that. But we want to recognize those who are in our community, in our surroundings, and we're going to kind of go from there. North Carolina does have the largest American Indian population east of the Mississippi. So there's a lot of opportunities for folks to support and get connected. So starting with the Coharie tribe, it is number 6. Okay, so they're over there down there by what was it called? I just looked for a minute. Around Fayetteville area, but where's that? Justin, what was that called again? That
Clinton.
Oh my.
Can you hear me?
Newton. It's not Newton.
Clinton.
Clinton. Good grief! I have a student who I am very invested in. I did not remember that. Man, she's gonna kill me. So, it is Clinton area. So that'd be number 6. All right. The Eastern Band of Cherokee Nation is number 1. The old Haliwa-Saponi. Justin, where do you think that's at?
So my people is going to be actually number 4.
There you go. So the star represents Raleigh. So that's kind of the indication of like a general sense of that. So, the Haliwa-Saponis. So Lumbee tribe is in number 7. All right. The Meherrin Indian tribe is number 5. They're a little bit closer to the Virginia area. So, and then this is where it kind of stumps up folks a little bit. The Occaneechi Band of the Saponi Nation is number 2. All right. And then the Saponi tribe is up number 3 in old. Like I like to say this in Person County, or Pearson, or Person. Yeah, it's Person, right? Person County.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's correct.
So, and then the Waccamaw Siouan Indian tribe is down there by Lake Waccamaw, and is at number 8. All right. So, I enjoyed this activity. This kind of gives us a good sense. This kind of lets us know directionally wise where people are coming from, especially when we're looking at as a community. When you step foot on your college campus, you can kind of have an idea of like, oh man, I walk them all. You kind of have a general idea of what part of the state they're coming from. All right. So we're going to move on to our next activity. All right. So again, so we want to start by looking about if we're joining or about to participate in a new environment. One of the things that I'm sure you've been told to is you kind of have to know yourself and know who you are, and start being able to advocate and start talking to others about who that is. Okay. So we're going to do a short little quote, Mad Lib style, about who am I. So my name, as I mentioned before, my name is Ian T. Stroud. I put that T in there because my name is very short, all right? And I put the emphasis on that T. People ask me all the time what that means. It means trouble, tenacious, terrific, but it just means Thomas, that's all. So, but Ian T. Stroud, my tribal affiliations are Navajo, or Dene is in my native language, Cherokee and Muskogee Creek, all right? My mother is Navajo, and my father is Cherokee Creek. So my hometown is a small place called Tahlequah, Oklahoma, and it's about an hour east of Tulsa. And then one of my goals or dreams, I want to become a college level official, football official. So that's my current goal right now. And my favorite memory from 2019, several, but I want to say, well, we'll just go with the more obvious one. Actually, no, I take this one. 2019, I actually was able to watch my first class of students graduate. So started with them in 2015, and they ended in 2019. So that's probably one of my. I had some students there that was like, wow, you're getting older and you're moving on. That's great. So, but I want you all to take a few moments again. And fill this out for us, and just kind of do, some introduction. Share what you feel like you're willing to share. We're not asking for a whole lot of details. Don't feel that, but just share a little small piece of that, and I'll explain why. So give it a few minutes.
And Ian, while they're doing that, I think me and Jackie, we can kind of share some of the same information about ourselves. I'll put Jackie on the spot a little bit too. I can go ahead and do mine first, Jack.
There you go.
So my name obviously is Justin Richardson. Tribal affiliation is Hollow Wasaponi. Hometown is Holliston, North Carolina. My dream or my goal, honestly, is very broad. It's always just is to be successful, just because everything changes in my life on things I want to do. And people will define success very differently. So it can be measured on happiness, money, or other things around there, just being happy in your job. So my number one goal in general is always to be successful and kind of push for more, make sure I'm happy with that point. And then my favorite memory from 2019 is probably my hardest thing to think about. I would say, I guess, off the top of my head, it would be buying a new car. That was probably my favorite memory.
All right, hi y'all. Again, I am Jacqueline, however you would like to refer me as. So Lopez is my last name. I do not claim any tribal affiliations. I do not identify as Native American or American Indian. I'm Mexican American specifically. So I am I'm in the process of learning like just the entirety of the history of like colonization. So that's a really exciting, but also like exhausting process that I'm learning about. My hometown right now, I claim Holly Springs, North Carolina as my hometown, although my technical hometown is all the way up in Michigan, but I don't claim Michigan anymore. I've been a proud North Carolinian since about 9 years ago. My dream / goal, that's something that I'm still thinking about and just like exploring. So that is I guess as of right now, my dream and goal professionally, because there's a lot of like work related dreaming goals, but there's also those like personal dreaming goals, and it's important to have both. So my work dream slash goal is to like keep working at a university, because college access is something that I'm very passionate about, but also like retention and providing students with the appropriate resources is also something that I find myself being very passionate about. So definitely doing something and staying within that realm is something that I can see myself doing. And my favorite memory from 2019, so my best friend and I went to Hawaii in 2019, and that was super great. I really liked it. And yeah, that's probably the most exciting thing that I've done ever, but specifically 2019.
And Ian, how would you like for the students to share? How you want to do it?
Verbally. So.
Well, this time I'm gonna let you call on students or pick it out.
I can't see them.
You said you can't see the participants?
No.
Uh,
Thank you all for those who are sharing. I mean,
wait. Gavin wants to.
Well, thank you all again for those who did share. I'll kind of wrap this up as far as explaining how that is later on. But this is kind of the first step as far as like starting looking at ourselves in this next part. You have to start thinking about like this whole process, this experience is just a part of your journey, and a part of your journey that's going to take you to the next step. A little story time opportunity. One of the things about learning from the like kind of our own cultural identity is that a lot of times the men were seen as like warriors, and regardless of what tribe you identify, men were essentially identified as the protectors. They were ones that were kind of ones supposed to kind of seek out, and oftentimes they had to go out either on hunting trips. They either had to maybe perhaps go to explore new town or new areas to establish residence or the village, or just kind of go for a more self-exploratory journey. But using some of those things, oftentimes they would encounter a lot of obstacles and adversity. And those obstacles and adversities come in all various forms of fashion. It could be from not having enough to eat. It could be over, like, there's a huge mountain in your way and you have to climb over that, literally, just in order to get to the other side that you need to get. It could be simple as crossing a river, those type of things. So that was kind of some of their obstacles and adversity that they encountered. And transforming it to modern times, as we look as students and as we look as individuals, you're about to embark on a journey that's going to be filled with its opportunities, successes, but there will also be some adversity and some challenges that come along with the way. And this is where an opportunity for you to kind of start seeing that. So one way these warriors oftentimes kind of help them get through those challenges and adversity was start to look within. And then they start looking at items such as medicine, okay? So medicine is kind of where you can draw your strengths in moments of adversity. Medicine can be a comfort thing, an energy of some sorts. It could be a spirituality moment, but finding your medicine. And it's different for everybody. It's different for folks who may be coming from different parts of the states, different parts of the country, their own experience. But essentially, what I do, at least especially with our native, or with some of my native students who I work with, is start helping them kind of start seeing what is their medicine and help them start collecting what helps them get through. And some of those, again, some of those examples, it could be is that medicine could be photos. It doesn't need to be like our sacred herbs or anything like that. It's just more about, moments, tokens. Tokens can be a variety of different things, shapes and sizes. It could be a song that kind of helps us find our center, because when you walk onto a college campus or a new town, a new area for the first time, it can be very intimidating. It can be very moments of insecurity can be very high. So you just want to kind of help kind of see what helps center you, help ground you in that moment to kind of stay who you are, but also help you get through these moments. Okay. So I'm going to pause for a second and show you some of my. Okay. So everyone can see me? So I want to share with you some of my medicine. That's the things that I carry with me. As Justin related, I worked with Justin, started 7 years ago when I used to live in Raleigh before I moved to Pembroke. Now I'm in Wisconsin. I move a lot, mainly because that's my experience, my journey. But along the way, I've collected a lot of different things, opportunities, moments, and I just want to kind of share examples of that real quickly. So starting off with, my old football over here. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I did high school officiating. I was given the opportunity 2 years ago to be a state championship referee. This is kind of the token they gave us afterwards. But this means a lot to me. So this is a culmination of hard work. This is a combination of just being recognized by my peers, especially during those dog days of times where I've done so many rec games, those flag football games, those Saturday afternoons where I'd be out there for 7-8 hours getting yelled at for whatever reason. This makes up for that. All those moments right there culminates that. So this is one of my genuine tokens here. But again, as I mentioned, tokens can be a lot of different things. I have a lot of quotes around me, and I write them down. This one by LeBron James. When you become lazy, it's disrespectful to those who believe in you. So again, when you become lazy, it's disrespectful to those who believe in you. So something I saw on LeBron's Instagram page, I just thought, man, that is very poignant. There's moments where I do get lazy. I don't want to do this. Why am I doing that? And I remember there's a lot of folks looking towards me for a lot of different things. And then I have the other one, hold the vision, trust the process. This helps me along the way just because, especially with work, I get a lot of, I get a lot of energy, but I also have a lot of challenges that I have to manage as a leader. I have to kind of help folks kind of make some very difficult decisions. I may have to assist a student through a moment of conflict, their own adversity, and talk about that, but reminding them that, this is just a process that we got to kind of go through, and we'll be that guide for you. So, and then one last token comes from one of my students from back at NC State. They gave me this gift, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I have no idea what this is. It was they gave it to me for in recognition of my service to them, assisting them through a variety of different things. And again, I appreciate it. However, I have no idea what this is, but I keep it in my office no matter what, because I do remember these are some that group of students at that time when I was there at NC State. Man, they were great, just phenomenal leaders. A lot of them have progressed on to become doctors. Some of them become educators. Some have done engineers, a variety of different things. So as unique as this gift is, it's still something I cherish and I still keep with me. And it's made the trip from North Carolina to all the way to Wisconsin. So, it's definitely going to be here along with me. So those are just examples of what we're talking about medicine-wise. What is medicine? What is that? Okay. So I would like for you all to start thinking about an object or an entity about what is your medicine? What is something you take with you? And again, it could be a spiritual moment. It could be a song. I'm as I mentioned before, a big music fan. And a lot of what I pull is like some old hip hop. And in fact, yesterday I was listening to a song by an artist you may or may not know, is Tupac. And it was So Many Tears. So it's a little bit harsh at times, but man, it just helps me get centered. Helps me find my place for a moment. Be like, oh man, let me take me back to my memories for a second as I go through that moment. So I'd like for a couple of you all to maybe possibly share and give you a couple of minutes to think about what medicine can you take with you on your next piece of your next journey that you have.
I'm happy to share mine real quick. So for me, it'd probably be a drum. So of course, this is more of a hand drum because it's a lot smaller. But pretty much every apartment I go to, I make sure this is taken with me. It don't always be in my work office, but it's going to be somewhere close to me. So like I mentioned before, I think in the very first session, we kind of started our own drum group on NC State's campus, and something we had no knowledge about whatsoever. So I can say one thing: no matter when I'm stressed out, the drum kind of helps me relax and it's kind of my getaway to myself. Helps me recenter about who I am. So basically, no matter where I'm at, no matter who I'll sing with at the moment or what it is, always have this somewhere close to me. It's kind of something personal for me.
For sake of time, and I want to make sure we give everyone respectful of your time as well as my time. I got a thing at 11, so. But anyways, medicine, we talk about that. We talked about who we are. This leads to the culmination of what this presentation is really about, is talking about community, okay? And community is important because it helps us bond, be together, and no important time in our history right now that we need community. And so you all are in an interesting place in life where you didn't kind of have any of those key moments to wrap up maybe possibly your high school years, or there was interrupted during your high school year. But then also look at the world around us. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of things that we just don't know yet, especially with this pandemic. We think about like this upcoming election. We think about some of us may be going to school and be thinking about like how that's going to be changing. I'm working with students right now who are registered for classes going like, what is the world going to look like in 3 months? And so community is going to help you bond together and be collective and be a part of something. As I mentioned before, I went to the University of Vermont for graduate school. I had no family up there. I definitely didn't know anybody. And so when I went up there, I found my community. For those who are not familiar with Vermont, it is very cold, very, very predominantly white. So as being a big brown man from Oklahoma, it was a bit of a challenge. But what got me through those 2 years and what made that experience well worth it and lifelonging was my community, my friends, those folks that we bonded. And that started with, we all know ourselves. We start to know, we became comfortable with ourselves. And then we also got to be an opportunity to kind of be, we learned about what keeps us centered, what keeps us grounded, and keeps our medicine together. We took our medicine together, and then we were able to kind of bond that way. And these are folks that are non-native. A variety of them are non-native. I was the only native they've ever met before or ever been friend with, associated with. So, but I took a lot of information from them. I gave a lot of information to them. So it's a unique experience. So that's what we were going to talk about. Just wanted to kind of reaffirm your cultural identity and the importance of that, especially when you go to a larger institution where it can be a little intimidating. You definitely don't want to be seen as an outsider, but everyone is. Everyone is some aspect of an outsider. We need to start shedding away some of these quote unquote identity, or these groups that kind of like we create in high school from those who have instead of have-nots. You start shedding that and finding folks who are about maybe a cause that you're particularly interested in. Maybe there's an affinity group that you all kind of come to as together. It could be your gender identity, it could be your cultural identity, it could be also maybe your sports identity. But not only can you come together, but also looking about how can you express that in your new community. So using my own personal example, I move around a lot for work and for these opportunities. And the things that I go immediately towards to sports and my cultural identity. I find it the nearest place where I can start refereeing, maybe get involved in some of the sports activities. Then I also get involved in the local Native community, you know, and just seeing how I can be a part of that and just gaining cults in that. So ranging from maybe attending a powwow to even just volunteering with the youth, doing some cleanup work, helping out with elders, getting that helps me it helps my experience, especially during those times where it's a lot of adversity for me. So, all right. With that being said, I want to kind of leave with some words of wisdoms or things I've have taken along the way and learned from students who are similar to you all. Get that. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Okay. All right. Well, I'll just read it to y'all. So, there you go. So, 5 things I want you to take away. 5 things I want to make sure you understand as you transition to college and some of your goals for your first year. Okay. Starting with number 1, creating your own structure. Okay. For the past 12 years, you all have been working off of somebody else's schedule. So whether it be school, whether it be your parents, someone else has been telling you, you have to do this next YZ. Now, when you get into college, one of the first things you're going to be taught is like, all right, you pick your classes. You choose when the time you want to do that. And by the way, no one's going to be telling you, you got to get up and go to class. No one's going to be telling you when to study, how to study with who, what to study, and how. No one teaches you that. Those are things that you're going to have to kind of learn on your own and seek out the resources that help you out to achieve that. But looking at number 1, creating that structure. So an example being, I do not like 8 a.m. Ian does not do 8 a.m. Even to this day, I'll do 8:15, I'll do 8:30. But as far as like classes, I try to avoid that. I never put myself in that situation. But also didn't like late afternoon classes either. So if I had a class like at 3 o'clock, it was not going to be happening. It was nap time or I was not going to be there. So you're going to find when that structure is. And then additionally looking at when your study habits are. So looking at where you're studying at. I can't study at home. I'm in my office doing this presentation. I could be at home doing it, but I have to do it here because it keeps my focus. It keeps home, and work. Helps me keep things separated. So yeah, that's kind of what I mentioned about creating that structure. So going number 1, structure. Number 2, looking at being comfortable with being uncomfortable. All right. There's a lot of things that you're about to be exposed to, and it's not easy. Being uncomfortable is not easy. And you can ask anybody who's carried a baby. You know, that is uncomfortable. So, and just being comfortable with that, being comfortable and being like, you know what, I don't know everything, and you're going to be challenged a lot, but just see it as this opportunity to kind of be, see this part of the journey. Again, trusting the process. So again, creating your structure, being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Surround yourself with folks that are like-minded, to help you who have at least goals similar to yours. It's easy to get caught up with folks who are, just in it, going through the emotions. But a lot of you all want to say, I want to be successful. What does success look like? It varies for everybody. And this gives you an opportunity to kind of help define that. I hung around a lot of folks who were like me, wanting to go to move away from our hometown and be elsewhere and be successful that way. We all went to colleges outside of our local college. We all went, and we still very much connected, but we all made a choice, and that was our goal. It's like, hey, we're going to live somewhere else. We love our hometown, but we see ourselves in a larger picture. But I surrounded myself with folks who wanted to achieve that, and I wanted that as well. So creating your structure, being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Surround yourself with like-minded folks. 1 or 2 is good. You don't need like 5, 10 people. You need 1 or 2 people that can help you get through that. And again, this is all regards to what some of my advice and for goals for your first year are. Number 4, looking at just explore. Like whether, you know, I want to say try to be a positive experience, try to be positive and make sure it's a safe experience, but often not those negative experiences also can leave you some great life learning lessons as well. So, but experience, go try new things, try a new club, try to meet a new friend. We all need new friends, okay? We always need new friends. But explore, try new cuisine, try new food. You may never had sushi before. This is an opportunity to try that. But explore. So again, structure, creating your own structure, being comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know, try to surround your folks who are like-minded or at least goal-oriented or similarly. We only need 1 or 2. Explore. And then lastly, the one thing that we wanted to make sure you emphasize as you transition to your first year in college or your next step in your journey, everything's your choice. Everything is a choice that you have. College does not guarantee you a job at the end of the day. It doesn't guarantee you anything. But it does guarantee you is that you have options, life options. I would not have the option of being able to not only surround myself with folks who are similar to me if I didn't make a choice to be a part of that. I wouldn't have the option to at least been in so many states, lived in so many different places, see these great opportunities if I didn't make a choice. So as I mentioned before, I used to work with a lot of students that were on academic probation. Unfortunately, that is still a choice. You choose not to go to class. You choose not to do your homework. You choose not to ask for help. So all those combinations those choices lead to another person making a choice for you. Okay. So recap again, transition to college, the goals for the first year, you know, create your structure, being comfortable with being uncomfortable, surround yourself with like-minded folks, looking at just explore, and then everything's your choice, understanding that. You have a good sense of that as you move forward. All right. I want to leave with you all with a couple of little idioms. Think about, everyone can imagine a turtle, right? So just imagine a turtle real quickly and just think about that animal for a second. So you know how a turtle can be able to move forward by sticking its neck out. So oftentimes we have to put ourselves out there, and sometimes that is helpful to kind of move forward, okay? So just continue to think of yourself as a turtle, and again, stick your neck out. You never know what's going to happen for it. That's what I'll leave with, all right? So, all right.
All right, Ian, I know you have another meeting coming from like 2 more minutes, and so y'all don't know, it's 12 o'clock here. He said he had a meeting at 11 because of the time zone difference. So Ian, you got to actually jump off. It's cool. I'm gonna do some quick closing words with me and Jackie. But everyone, thank you for kind of listening to him. Like Ian was saying, especially with the little turtle reference at the end, sticking your neck out. That's kind of goes into the part we talked about the first day about going to college can seem like the unknown. So especially for students who may be first generation or anything is around there, is you don't know what you're getting into. You don't know parts about it, a whole setup and structure about it. But it's kind of beauty and growth within it because you're kind of getting out of your normal comfort zone for yourself. And you kind of learn more about yourself at that time management point. So talking about what works for you. I'm with him. I don't like really early morning classes. I don't like super late classes. So it's finding that process for you. And finding your community on campus kind of keeps you center and kind of be your medicine no matter what you want it to be. And getting involved on campus and kind of finding your community can be anything under the sun. Anything, no matter what it is. It doesn't have to be cultural specific. Is what makes you you and kind of what keeps you sane. Jackie, do you have any closing words you want to put in? I feel like you do.
I do not, actually. All of that was put really well. That was awesome. And I hope that all of our students enjoyed that and learned a lot. I learned a lot.
Some students are saying thank you in the chat feature, so I'm not for sure if you can see it. They say you're a wonderful speaker as well, so don't get too big-headed about that. But everyone, thank you so much. Just to give you a heads up, tomorrow we actually do a little bit more about, again, language and dialect. So we got Dr. Dr. Walt Wolfram. He's one of our professors here on campus. So he does a lot of the Lumbee language study. Is phenomenal. He's going to play some different audio clips for you. As you top hit with our program, it's love to kind of go through and spend time with. Once again, it'll be at 11 o'clock a.m. Again, like I always be respectful for it. I'll send you an email with more information about it tonight. Besides that, you all have a great day.
Bye, y'all. Happy Wednesday.